everybody, it's Lisa and welcome to a new video. So today I'm going to be talking about some books that I plan to read during this year that I think will end up being 5 stars. So I kind of took 5 books from my 2021 TBR video, books that I plan to read this year regardless, and also some new releases as well, some of them from my January through March releases video. I took some books from those videos as well as some other anticipated releases throughout the year and compiled a list of books that I think are going to be 5 stars. I did one of these videos last year, and at the end of the year I checked in to see if they were actually 5 stars or not, and it was super fun and I really enjoyed doing it, so I definitely want to do it again this year. So hopefully I get through all of these books this year so I can do a check-in video, but regardless, I think all of these books are going to be 5 stars, so I'm very excited about them and I hope that I know myself and that I'm right. But let's just get into the video. Let's start talking about some books that I think will be 5 stars. So the first one I think will be 5 stars because so many people love this book. It is a classic, so it is a bit different for me, but I'm interested to see if I give it 5 stars or not, and that is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. So I know that this is a beloved classic for many years, but I've been really wanting to read this since the new movie came out. Well, I say new, it came out in like 2019, so new-ish. And I also have been seeing this pop up on a lot of people's favorite books of 2020 videos, so I just know that I need to get to it. I need to read it. I have a feeling I'm going to love it. I've heard that with this book there isn't much of a plot. You mainly are just focusing on the 4 different sisters and their lives, and I don't know, I just feel like I'm really going to enjoy it. I feel like if there is a classic that I am intrigued enough to even buy a copy, it's gonna be one that I like. I'm not a big classic reader, but I have a feeling that this one will be one that I give 5 stars. So I just realized the next 4 books that I have on my TBR are all fantasy books, so I'm not really being that bold by assuming that they're gonna be 5 stars because I love fantasy, but you never know, things could go south with these. So the next book that I think will be 5 stars is The Last Magician by Lisa Maxwell. So this is a book that is following someone who is able to kind of travel back in time and steals magical artifacts. I honestly, that's really all I know. I don't know much about this book, but I've been intrigued by it for so long, so I just have a feeling it's going to be something I really enjoy. I think our main character is going back in time to steal a magical artifact before a certain group of people can do that and kind of use it against her. I'm not really sure. I just have heard really good things about this book and it just seems like something that would be right up my alley, so I'm very excited about this. I feel like it's going to be 5 stars. This video is probably not going to be the most insightful thing because I like to go into books not knowing much about them. I just am basically assuming that they're going to be 5 stars based off of the vibes. But yeah, I've been really excited to read this book for a really long time and I've been putting it off for some reason. I really don't know why, so I definitely want to get to it this year and I hope I love it. I hope that my expectations for this book are met or exceeded. I just really hope I love this, so I'm putting it on the 5-star predictions list. We'll see. The next book I feel like is going to be 5 stars simply because everybody else I feel like has given it 4 or 5 stars. I have not seen one bad review for this book, and that is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I know that we're following a character named Rin who I think is attending this military academy, and I believe there's a lot of themes regarding war. Like, these are basically just books about war, and I've just heard so many good things about it. I know that it's a very serious discussion and very serious topics involved in this book. It's based off of real events, so I definitely want to be aware of all those things going into this book, but I've heard so many good things. I feel like everyone who picks up this book ends up loving it, and I'm kind of basic and feel the same way that a majority of people do about books, so I have a feeling I'm gonna feel the same. It's also one of my best friends, Casey, her favorite book, so, or I think this is like her favorite series, so I better like it just so I can continue to remain friends with her. Next is one that I think is a bit of a gamble, only because I've seen some more negative reviews start to come out a little bit about this book. I have heard really good things, so that's kind of why I'm putting it on here, but I've never read from this author before. It's her debut. We'll see, but that is These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. Again, know very little, just know it's a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in I think the 20s in Shanghai, I believe. The year is 1926, so I was correct. I also think that gangs are somehow involved in this. I don't know. I'm just going in for a good time. I've heard so many good things about it and I'm just really excited for it, so I hope it's 5 stars just because I've seen so many good things and I've been hyping it up to myself this whole time, so again, hope it's 5 stars. I'm gonna say that after every book, aren't I? So the next book that I have is the last one that I have on my physical TBR and has been released already, and that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I feel like so many people, so many different types of readers, so many different types of people who read different things have loved this book, so I don't see how I could not like this. In this book, we're following our character Addie, who makes a deal with a devil-like creature. They say it's the devil. I don't think it's really the devil, but the devil, where I think she will be able to get out of the situation that she is currently in. She gets put in this difficult situation, so I think the deal is she'll be able to get out of it and live forever, but nobody will be able to remember who she is if they meet her. And I just think that the premise is super interesting. I know this is Victoria Schwab's like passion project. She's been working on it for I think like 10 years or something. So I've heard so many good things and I just really want to love it because of how much Victoria Schwab has been like, how much effort she's put into this book, if that makes sense. I also know that this is a lot of people's favorite Victoria Schwab book, or they've read some of her other books and didn't like them, but liked this one. And I happen to like some of the other Victoria Schwab books that I've read. I've read the A Darker Shade of Magic trilogy and really enjoyed it. I also have read her City of Ghosts like middle grade series and really enjoyed that as well. I have Vicious on my TBR. Haven't read it, but I do like Victoria Schwab's writing, so I have a feeling if I've liked her other books, I'm gonna like this one because a lot of people say that this is her best book, so I'm excited. So yeah, I have high expectations for this book, and I just know that I already like Victoria Schwab's writing, and if people are saying this is her best book, I have a feeling I'm gonna give it 5 stars. So those are all the backlisted titles that I have on my 5-star predictions list. Now we'll get into the books that are being released this year that I think I will pick up probably at some point throughout the year and will read and give 5 stars. So the first one actually was released today, the day I'm filming, so it is out by the time you see this, and that is Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. So Concrete Rose is a prequel to The Hate U Give, which is Angie Thomas's like super popular debut novel, and I'm so excited for this because I loved The Hate U Give. I thought it was so good and so powerful, so important. I feel like I say this every time I talk about that book, but it's so good. But this is a prequel that is following the dad of the main character in The Hate U Give, so we're following Maverick, who has kind of always been involved with the King Lords, these gangs, and that is like the way that he has always been told to provide for his family. But everything kind of gets flipped upside down when he realizes that he is about to be a father, and I just think it's going to be a super good and super powerful story. I'm really excited about it. Not only are the messages in her books really important, but also just her writing style is really great, and I love her characters as well. I loved the family in The Hate U Give. Like, that was one of my favorite aspects of that book, is the family dynamics. So I'm excited to learn more about the family and their history. And yeah, I can't imagine this not being 5 stars. I'm so excited for this book, and I'm really excited that it's out today. Need to go and order my copy. So the next book that I think will be 5 stars is Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. This is the second book in the Last Hours trilogy, and I don't want to say too much about this book because it's spoilers for so many of the other Shadowhunter books. Not only is it a sequel to Chain of Gold, but this whole trilogy is kind of a sequel trilogy to The Infernal Devices, so there's just a lot of connections. So like I said, this is a sequel sort of to the Infernal Devices trilogy, so we're following the kids of the main characters in that original trilogy, and there's a lot going on. There's a lot of characters, a lot of angst, some romance, some, I was gonna say love triangles, but it's not even like, it's not even a shape. I feel like the love mess that is in this series, it's a mess. There's no shape. But there is a lot going on in this series just within the characters, never mind like the demons that are kind of trying to take over, you know, London at this time. That's another problem. There's also problems within the characters and their relationships and just all the family dynamics and things like that. There's just a lot going on, and Chain of Gold is probably one of my favorite Shadowhunter books that Cassandra Clare has written, so I'm super excited for the sequel. Also, this cover. Am I like wrong for liking this cover? I don't actually hate this cover. I know a lot of people do. I don't. The only thing that bothers me is like the huge moth on the front. It's not my favorite thing, but like, it's Lucy. It's Lucy, everybody. How can you hate it? But anyway, other than the cover, I do think I'm going to give this 5 stars. I typically give a lot of Shadowhunter books 5 or 4 stars, and I have a feeling because I love Chain of Gold so much that there's a lot of promise for the rest of this trilogy that this one will also be 5 stars. Alright, the next 3 books are ones that I didn't actually talk about in my anticipated releases video because they're coming out later on in the year, so here's a little sneak peek as to what's to come in future anticipated releases videos. But the first one is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I honestly think this is going to be 5 stars purely because it's Taylor Jenkins Reid. So I have read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and that is one of my favorite books that I've ever read. I also read Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid and loved that as well. So I have a feeling this is going to be no different. Honestly, I just saw she was coming out with a new book and was like, okay, add to list, add to TBR, add to 5-star predictions, and I really don't even know what is really happening in this book. So let me read a little bit of the Goodreads description just so you can get an idea, and so I can get an idea of what it's about. I'm purely adding this for the author, that's it. So it says, a lifetime holding it together, one party will bring it crashing down. Malibu, August 1983. It's the day of Nina Riva's, don't know if I'm saying that right, annual end of the summer party, and anticipation is at a fever pitch. Everyone wants to be around the famous Rivas. Nina, the talented surfer and supermodel, brothers Jay and Hud, one a championship surfer, the other a renowned photographer, and their adored baby sister Kit. Together, the siblings are a source of fascination in Malibu and the world over, especially as the offspring of the legendary singer Mick Riva. The only person not looking forward to the party of the year is Nina herself, who never wanted to be the center of attention, and who has also just been very publicly abandoned by her pro tennis player husband. Oh, and maybe Hud, because it is long past time to confess something to the brother from whom he's been inseparable since birth. Jay, on the other hand, is counting the minutes until nightfall, where the girl he can't stop thinking about promised she'll be there. And Kit has a couple secrets of her own, including a guest she invited without consulting anyone. By midnight, the party will be completely out of control. By morning, the Riva mansion will have gone up in flames. Sounds chaotic. I'm very excited. I have a feeling this is going to be really good. I feel like Taylor Jenkins Reid is really good at writing all these different types of characters and somehow interweaving their stories. It's something that I think was really well done in Evelyn Hugo and Daisy Jones, so I'm excited to see it in this book. And also reading that description made me realize that I did remember that it was about a mansion and a party and a family and things like that, but I'm just excited. I have a feeling it's going to be very interesting. Her characters are always super interesting to follow, and getting all that backstory is going to be quite a ride, so I'm excited. Definitely think this will be 5 stars as well. The next book that I think will be 5 stars is A Psalm of Storms and Silence by Roseanne Brown. I recently read the first book in this duology, I believe, A Song of Wraiths and Ruin, and I loved it so much. So in this first book of this duology, we're following 2 characters. One is Malik, who is escaping from his war-stricken home and is trying to escape into this city. And we're also following Karina, who is the princess and is kind of living in the city that Malik and his sisters are traveling to. And due to certain situations, I feel like this is a book that if you're planning on picking it up, I feel like you should just know as little as possible. So due to certain situations, they end up having to basically be on missions to kill each other, essentially, and I just love it so much. I think there's such a lot of promise with this series, or duology. I actually don't know how many there's going to be. I think it might just be a duology, but I'm not sure. But A Song of Wraiths and Ruin was actually Roseanne Brown's debut novel, and I thought it was so good. I think it was setting up a very promising start to the series, and I just feel like Roseanne Brown is going to be one of those authors that no matter what, I'm going to want to pick up her books because I really enjoyed her debut. So this book is the sequel to that first book, and I'm really excited about it. Like I said, really loved the first one. I think I gave it a 4.5. I think there were some things that I had issues with, but for the most part, I really did love it, and I feel like because this is the second book, it's just going to be an improvement of the first, and I have no doubt that this will be 5 stars. So the next book is actually the final book on this list, and that is Gilded by Marissa Meyer. There is very little information for this book. All we know so far is that it's a Rumpelstiltskin retelling. That's it. But I love Marissa Meyer's books for the most part. I added Instant Karma to a 5-star prediction list last year, and spoiler, it was not a 5-star, so might be silly of me to add another Marissa Meyer book to a 5-star prediction list when there's no information, but I have a feeling this is going to be more up my alley. I think the fact that she's going back to a retelling sort of situation, I feel like I love all of her retellings, and I also feel like there's going to be a lot more magic and fantasy elements involved in this, so I have a feeling that this is going to be a more promising 5-star read for me. But yeah, I've given most of Marissa Meyer books 4 or 5 stars, so I have a feeling this is going to be another 5-star, and I'm so excited to get more information on this and see if this was a smart idea putting it on this list or not. I think it's a good idea because it's a retelling. We love a good retelling in this house, and Marissa Meyer's really good at writing retellings in my opinion, so I'm excited. I think it's going to be a 5-star. Hopefully I'm not a clown like I was with Instant Karma. So those are all of the books that I am hoping to read this year that I think will be 5 stars. I know I wasn't very insightful with this video. I basically was just saying that I was really excited for these books and that I think they're going to be 5 stars. But like I said, I don't like knowing too much going into books. I like just being surprised by everything that happens, and I just think purely based off of vibes or what other people are saying or authors or whatever it is, I feel like I'm going to like these books. So yeah, hopefully I'm right. I love how I just said that I put these books on this list based off of vibes. I'm so annoying. But I would love to know in the comments down below, 1, if you've read any of these books, were they 5 stars for you? I would also love to know if you have any predictions for yourself in your reading this year. If you have any 5-star predictions, I would love to know. But I think that is going to complete this video, so don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you have not already. Also, feel free to click the bell notification to be notified anytime I upload a new video. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.